Welcome back to another episode of NEOSOULed Radio. This is your host, Kyrie Nashim, aka NEOSOULed, and we are here with Adela.
Hi, my name is Adela. Pronouns are they, she.
And you are a DJ, you're a fashion designer, you're just an overall creative, but you can go ahead and explain it yourself. Who are you and what brings you here?
Hey everyone, my name is Adela. My DJ name is also Adela. A lot of people say 4DHILA. I'm okay with that, but I'm trying to encourage people to say Adela. It's like another 6 lakh situation. But yeah, so I used to make clothes. I'm really into DJing right now. I did digital art for a really long time, painting, drawing, tagging, graffiti, like you name it, I've done it.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually met you way back in 2020. You had me model for you. I'm so blessed to have watched your growth and just seeing you grow into yourself and just grow as an artist. Can you describe how that transition was from, designing clothes to doing these live music performances?
Yeah, so I first got into clothes when I was about, I want to say 16, 17, and when I did my clothes, my name was Island Bronze at the time.
Yes.
Really connected to like me being Sri Lankan, me being South Asian, me being Muslim, me kind of finding my place as a first-gen kid in the world. And so I resorted to my clothes because I came up with this very particular design of like a hijabi with her eyes kind of bulging out. So I put that on all my clothes, and I got really into spray painting for a really long time. But I feel like once I moved out to San Francisco in 2020, I couldn't make clothes anymore because I didn't have a backyard to spray paint. I was in an apartment in Park Merced, so I couldn't work with the materials that I had. And so I took a really long break from art. Like in 2021, I was kind of like done with art. Like I didn't think that I would want to create ever again.
Why is that?
I feel like when I was 16 and when I created like Island Bronze, that was a part of my identity that was really angry.
Really?
I was really angry. I was just in a really bad like mental state, and I feel like the art that I created had a lot of that emotion with it. Just a lot of like trauma within it. I was really, really vulnerable in my pieces, and I shared that with the world, and I just wasn't ready to open that can of worms again, and I just wasn't ready to like build off of that again. And I kind of want to just like, okay, Island Bronze is past me. I want to be my own person now. Like I just want to make art to make art. I just want to create stuff for fun rather than like, oh, I'm creating this with a meaning behind it for my people, for my community, because there's just so much pain in that. I feel like I made the best pieces when I was in the worst state. So now that I'm in a better state, I found it harder to make art because I'm like, oh, I'm happy now. I don't have any substance to work with. I was always really into music. Like as a kid, my dad and my uncle were probably like the biggest influences in my life. And then in late 2021, I started to go to more DJ sets and more like underground raves in Oakland and the East Bay. And I really fell in love with the craft of it and the community behind it too.
Yeah.
And I would always go to like queer, like women DJ sets. And I just remember feeling so safe and feeling like I can just dance, even though I'm not a good dancer. I could just dance and feel comfortable, and I really wanted to create that atmosphere. So my interest with DJing kind of started in like November 2021, and it was always just a thought in the back of my head, just like, oh, it's just one of those thoughts, like I can get on aux at a party and I'll have everyone dancing.
Right.
But I didn't take it seriously until December when I really wanted to start getting into it. And then I started watching like a bunch of YouTube videos and like boiler room sets and getting really inspired by it. And I was actually going to save up to buy a controller. And then my best friend Hans, shout out to 2K Hansi.
Shout out to him.
He gifted me a controller for Christmas.
Oh, what?
And that's how my DJ journey started.
God. See, that is so meaningful, And I feel like you always felt it within yourself, but sometimes it takes that other person to just see that light in you and pay it forward in that way. Where are you from originally before you were in San Francisco?
So I'm from the East Bay. I am from Castro Valley. So
Okay.
I was born and raised in Castro Valley. And then, I moved to San Francisco for school in 2020.
Okay. And, amongst your friends and your family, your peers, how have they reacted to your art? Were they supportive? Did you have a lot of naysayers? Or
This is actually really funny. So at first, my parents were like, oh, you started DJing, like you're gonna get in the club scene, like you're gonna get in nightlife. And it was just really funny because, I mean, my parents never really supported my art because, you know, they're immigrants and they see art and they're just like, you're not gonna make money. And they're kind of like worried about that aspect. And then when Hans gave me my controller, I saw my dad fiddling around with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so my dad was actually really interested in it, and my uncle was super excited for me. I remember I was just like, I got a Pioneer DDJ 400, and I showed him, and he was like, oh my god, like I wanted this so bad, like you're so lucky. And I'm just like, why didn't you get it? And he's like, he looked at me dead and he's like, I was poor. I'm just like, sorry. But now I feel like my family, especially my dad, he's gotten a lot more supportive of it because he sees how much joy it brings me. And he's gained that trust in me that, you know, regardless of what I do in my life, I'm always going to be on my feet and I have a good head on my shoulders. So he actually sends me DJ sets now. My peers, like my friends, they were really supportive. Like I'm really lucky to have my best friend, like Tariq, was definitely by my side, like rooting me on, cheering me on. Like he really pushed me and encouraged me to take part in it. And all of my friends, you know, like San Francisco and in my hometown, they showed up for my first DJ set in March. And like my best friend Sergio and Annika actually were the ones to have me play my first set at their party. So yeah, I've been showered with nothing but love, but also that kind of doubt and criticism from my family. But I feel like that doubt and criticism just makes me want to perfect my craft even more.
Oh, wow. Yes. Beautifully spoken. So you basically you use it as your fuel to keep going.
Yeah.
And your DJing, your music has kind of been a means for you and your dad to connect in a new way. Yeah. That's very beautiful, very powerful. Do you have anything as a DJ that personally irritates you? Just the behavior of people?
Something that I definitely like gets on my nerves is when people get like mad at you at a set, or you know, they'll be like, can you play? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I can't take requests right now. They're like, oh, this DJ's ass. That entitlement, I feel like, from people, it definitely irritates me, but I try not to let it get to me because I try to understand, okay, you know, a lot of people don't see DJing as a way to bring people together. They see it as, I want to hear my favorite song play. And I'm trying to change that narrative. I DJ because I want people to feel safe. I want to start a community. I want people to walk away from my sets just being like, oh my god, like that was an experience. I don't want it to just be like, I'm here to hear my favorite song, or I'm here to hear the music and that's it. I want it to be like immersive, and I want people to kind of really respect the craft of it and enjoy the craft of it. So something that definitely irritates me is when that is negated and that's kind of just ignored, and DJing is just seen as like a monetary thing or just like an in the moment thing that won't carry on with you. So yeah, I would just say, you know, the disrespect for the craft of DJing, and the entitlement of just, you know, like, why are you talking to a DJ like that? Come on.
Right. Where's the respect?
Yeah.
Where's the respect? Yeah. And I understand you just got back from New York City, correct?
I did.
Yes. And I seen that you were connecting with the DJ scene out there.
Yeah.
What was that like for you, and how does it compare to the Bay Area?
Oh my God. New York. I was there Thursday through Sunday, so really short trip. I was staying out in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn with my friend Amaya. It was really crazy. New York is definitely like more bustling. Like there's just so much more people. It's so much more populated. There's so many more creatives. There's so many DJs out there. And I didn't really get to meet a lot of different DJs, but
really,
I did actually meet one of my biggest inspirations, ANNABELLE KLEIN, on the train.
What?
Yeah.
That is like some crazy universal synchronicity.
I was like, a lot is telling me something right now, because to run into someone that I looked up to on a train,
right,
like with millions of people that take it every day. So she's a music curator. She started That Good Shit, which is like her music business, and I just really admire her for having that respect for music. And so she was having a disco house DJ set, and the whole thing was just, again, you know, like, do you want to hear like women and queer DJs like come out to this set? The DJ scene is really heavily male dominated, so this is going to be a space for like women and queer people just to come together. I actually wasn't going to go to her set because it was $20 and I was running low on funds.
Oh man.
And I met her on the train and I was just like, I wanted to come to your set, but like I didn't have money. She was like, I'll put you on my guest list.
Oh, that's so nice of her. Wow.
The moment I walked in, it was just like pink and purple lights, and it was like the sound of it, like it was just so bubbly. I think is like the best way to put it, like bubbly disco house. It was amazing. Like I'll never forget that night. And even though I only got a chance to see one DJ set out there, New York, it's a lot more dense and it's a lot more populated. And I feel like in the moment, you know, it's not like you turn around and you see someone you know. But I feel like maybe I'm biased because it's a Bay Area and I'll always have the love for the Bay Area. But for the Bay Area, when I see DJ sets, I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, I know them. Or I turn around and see my homie and I'm like, oh my God, hey, like I know you. And so like we dance together and we dance in community to the DJ sets in the Bay, I feel like, or at least to all the shows I've been out here. But maybe it's unfair to say, but in New York, I just didn't really feel that.
What was it like instead? Just people dancing by themselves?
People dancing, yeah, people were dancing, but I feel like I couldn't turn around and just start dancing with someone, if that makes sense. But maybe, you know, but at the same time, I have to admit, like, I might be a little biased. I was only there for a few days, so I'm sure it's a lot more different. And I was out in Brooklyn, and I will say I can definitely sense more of a community feeling in Brooklyn than I do in Manhattan. Manhattan's like a big city. If I could compare it to San Francisco, I would, and I'm just not. I feel safer in a DJ set in the East Bay than I do in San Francisco, and I feel like the same can apply for New York. I feel safer in Brooklyn than in Manhattan, just in terms of community and being together with people, if that makes sense.
Oh no, I totally feel you. I mean, I started really getting into like modeling and acting when I went to college in San Francisco, but what was really, really influential for me was going to the East Bay, going to Oakland, because it's like night and day, you know? It's, you have Black and brown people, you just have more of a sense of community. Whereas out here, it's just like, it's dry, it's just capitalistic, and you know, it has its moments, it has its perks, obviously, because I'm out here, but yeah, you know, there's something about the events and the things that I've been a part of in Oakland that it's like nowhere else, you know?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, no, I totally get that too. Like, I mean, I grew up in the East Bay, obviously, so I feel like I spent a lot of my time in Oakland, Berkeley, and San Francisco. Those are like my top 3 cities. I feel like the scene out in San Francisco, it's very, you know, it's very white, it's very techno, it's very EDM, it's very like electronic. But out in the East Bay, like, I feel like you just get such a good mix of everything. They just play all kinds of different music. All these different DJs out in Oakland, they'll play like techno, like jungle, drum and bass, like rap, hip hop, like Bay Area classics, and it's just like, I feel like I can just hear the best of both worlds when I'm in the East Bay. And then in San Francisco, I mean, you get it. Like, I don't want to disrespect any creatives out in the city. You know, maybe it is still like I'm still kind of discovering new scenes out in the city, but the scenes that I've been to, it's just, yeah, it's mostly like electronic and that like hyper pop sound, which I really love, but I can't hear it all the time. Like, I need a mix.
Right. I mean, I think that's because so many people who live in San Francisco, especially at San Francisco State, they're not even from the Bay, you know? Like,
no, they're from SoCal.
Yeah. You have the good and the bad with that, but definitely a loss of culture, I would say, or just like a shift in it. And I think the biggest thing for that was definitely the pandemic. I know that you are class of 2020, correct, from high school, and so you were seriously affected. And I know when I met you, you were still trying to figure it out, and then the world just fell through. So my question is, as somebody who was preparing to leave the house and, you know, start on your own, to be faced with this huge world shift, you know, how did that affect you?
It affected me really heavily. 2020 was not a fun time for me at all. I moved out primarily for school, but like my mental health was just at an all-time low. And I needed to get out. Like, I needed a change of environment. And in 2020, when I first came to San Francisco, it was rough. It was really rough. Like, I just didn't feel like I had control over myself. I had a box of all of my art stuff that just sat in my closet for a year.
And were you living at your parents' house in 2021, or
in 2020 I moved. So I moved November of 2020 to Park Merced in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I moved like in the middle of the pandemic.
So you were doing school online?
Yeah, I was all remote up until fall of 2021. So I was going to school and just kind of working, and I feel like I just didn't have any motivation or energy to create, so I just didn't.
I know that you spoke earlier about your other means of creation. I know that you do your art, your paintings, and then the clothing design as well. I was wondering, with all these different modes of expression, how do you decide which that you want to pour into at once?
This is such a fun question because I ask myself this all the time. I have ADHD, so I feel like I get fixated on certain things for a really long time. DJing is definitely one of those things where it's stuck with me for a long time. So now I'm trying to force myself to, or not force myself, but I'm taking joy in other things. Like I'm really into drawing right now.
Really?
And coloring and tagging. And so it's just a feel in the moment thing. I try to have designated days where I create now. So I'm like, okay, Saturdays are going to be my art day, whether that's painting, drawing, or DJing. For me, it just works if I have those options, and it's like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, I think I'm going to draw some stickers, and then Saturday I'll work on my DJ set. So I feel like I just take it day by day, and I wake up and I'm like, I feel like doing a collage, or I feel like doing graphic design, and then the next day I don't feel like doing it and I take a break. So yeah, I go with my heart. I've been trusting my heart and my gut a lot more, rather than, oh, I have to get this done, or I have to get this set done, or I have to finish this canvas.
Well, thank you for that. And I feel like that's very relatable, especially just being an artist. It's hard to do what you want to do and express yourself, but not get caught up in the consumerism aspect of it, or just trying to outdo yourself each time. Or like you said earlier, it was an issue with it only being tied to pain, and it wasn't something that was, it seemed like it was kind of hurting you, to create in that way. With me, I have many different interests, and what I try to do is like find means of integrating them at once. Exactly. Scheduling is the biggest thing. Having your designated days for doing what you need to do. The last DJ that I interviewed, shout out to Lonnie, they said that they have at least one method of expressing themselves, one art form that they don't do for consumption, that they don't post, or that they don't desire to get paid from. I think that's kind of hard in this day and age with social media and TikTok. It's like, okay, how can I monetize this? Like, how can I make it happen? But you don't want to lose sight of the creation that's coming from your soul. Don't get caught up in other people's, what they need from you. Yeah,
no, most definitely. Adding on to that, that's why I feel like my passion for DJing as a craft is so big, is because I don't want to get lost in the consumerism. I don't want to get lost in the money. And something that someone said to me was like, you got to make yourself out there. Like you gotta DJ for like people's weddings, and if they want you to play country music, like you have to. That's how you're gonna make your name out there. And I'm just like, and in the moment I was like, and so like I took in what she was saying to me, but I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm the pretentious DJ. Like, I'll be the DJ who's like, I'm going to share the music that makes me happy, because I want other people to feel the same joy that I feel when I'm listening to this song. And that's why I really want to protect DJing for me. Like, I don't want that to get lost into money. Like, I don't want my soul to be sold with DJing, if that makes sense.
Oh, perfect sense. It's very relatable. I think that's something that you go through no matter what kind of art form you do. I definitely saw it in modeling. Like, I had to make certain decisions where it's like, okay, this isn't something that I want to represent, or I feel like I'm not being respected in this space. There are people who have come at me so crazy, like so foul, like
you?
Yeah,
the
like
nicest person I've ever
Thank you, but I think that's been my issue. You feel me? Like, I can be too nice at times, and some people are just rude and disrespectful, and like, you just gotta protect yourself, protect your heart and your energy.
Yeah, most definitely.
More than anything.
I definitely get that. It's just, I honestly don't know how to respond to entitlement or disrespect when it comes to creating. My motto in 2022 has been like, I want to soften my heart and I want to forgive but not forget. And it's hard to soften your heart when people are coming at you, especially in the art scene, because you're just like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I like and I know what I enjoy. Why is that being challenged right now?
Well, I think that no response is a response. You don't have to always respond to things, And that's something I've been working on too, is like not going back and forth with people, because what's the point?
Exactly.
Like, why take away from your own peace, or why try and argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you? For me, I've just learned to move different. And make sure that you're around people who care about you for you. And from what you've said, you're definitely surrounded by people like that. It's beautiful how these people have poured into you.
Yeah, I'm like, that's why I love the Bay Area. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but it's just like, my heart will always be with the Bay. Like, I was in New York, I'm like, yeah, I'm from the Bay. Like, yeah, like 510. Like,
yes. Put on.
it's just like the community, like my friends who are creatives, like I put their name out there. Like I was talking to like different artists in New York about my friends because and it's not because like, oh, I'm putting you on so you got to put me on, but it's just a genuine love.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I genuinely like love the people that I meet in creating, and that's why like I was like, hey, like you want to get dinner after, or like it's
and
just
I'm so
like,
hungry.
It's like I feel like it's just really nice when you get to connect with the people that you create with, because that's what just forms a genuine connection, and that's what makes me want to keep going.
Yes, yes, yes. And it can be easy to be lost in that, or just surrounded by the wrong people, or you have to decipher which people you can work with and which people you can actually kick it with. You got to learn your own flow. What would you say is your goal for yourself, or where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years or so?
That's $1 million question. My goal is definitely, I just want to be immersed in a community. I want to create a community. I want people to be like, yeah, like let's all go to Adela Set together. I just want people to feel loved, especially the people who didn't get love in their upbringings. And like I was definitely one of those people where I was doing really destructive things to get love, or doing really destructive things to get attention. And I want people to feel like I connected with them. I know it sounds cliche, but it's just like I genuinely just want to like speak to every soul that's at a set with me, and that's my goal. Is I want people to be immersed in an experience and grow a love and passion for DJing as a craft, and just art and music as like something that is used for pleasure rather than like
pain, or like unity rather than division.
Exactly,
that's kind of what I was getting from what you're saying.
So in 5 years, I don't know where I'll be. I'm you know, I had a lot of routes that I could take. I'm in school right now. I'm a third year. I'm majoring in liberal studies and race and resistance. So I really thought that I was going to be an ethnic studies teacher out of high school. So there's that route. There's my DJing route. There's graphic design. There's, you know, working for my mom at her school. And so I honestly, I'm scared for what's going to come in 5 years, but I know this, that I can say this confidently, is that I'm going to keep creating.
Yes, of course.
Like,
and you have to.
I really hope in 5 years I live somewhere else for a little bit, but I want to get involved in the underground music scenes, and I want to, you know, kind of be involved in that too, because it's like things are underground for a reason. It's because people don't fit into the mainstream. So I want to speak to those people. I want to connect with those people and be like, me and you, we're like this.
Yes.
To everyone who just comes to my sets. But yeah.
Beautiful. And I believe in your vision, and I know you're already starting the community. You know, like the things that you're talking about, I feel like you're on your way there already. Is there any pressing issues or anything on your mind right now that you wish to highlight or bring awareness to?
I think we all need to remember to be kind to ourselves and to be kind to those around us. I mean, I know that sounds cliche too, but that's something that I feel like is getting lost in the art community, especially, you know, people in the art world in the Bay Area. You get your good and bad folks. But I just want us to remember, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, we're all in this together. Like, we can't be individualistic. We can't be pretentious. We can't just be like, you know, I'm worried about me and like fuck everyone else. So I just want to remind people, you know, research for that passion and love that you had when you started creating, because I feel like it's so easy to just get lost in that.
Set your intentions.
Yeah. You attract what you put out there. You know, if you're just being bitter 24/7, like you're gonna attract bitterness. And I feel like in the art world, it's so easy to do that.
Yeah, it's easy to become resentful, and it's easy and it's encouraged to set your intention for your art on making money and being popular and being better than the next person. But from what you're saying, it's clear that your intention is to bring people together, to make people who have not felt accepted or felt like they have a space where they can feel comfortable, where they can feel safe and enjoy music and connect. You're creating that. And so as long as you hold on to that intention, then, you know, only beautiful things will grow around you.
Exactly. You know? No, most definitely. I gotta reclaim that space. We all have to reclaim our space. Like, however you want to interpret that, whether that's, you know, reclaiming your home city or like your environment, or reclaiming your art, or reclaiming your identity. Just reclaim that, you know, like what's stopping you from reclaiming your inner soul,
right?
Like your space within your body and stuff around you. That's like a pressing thing on my mind, most definitely, is just how do I reclaim that? How do I reclaim myself? How do I reclaim my identity? How do I reclaim my space? And I think that's why, side story, but I was really struggling to find a DJ name. And I still am, you know, I'm still kind of keeping my options open. But I'm just like, let me just use my name.
Yeah.
Like Adela. Like my name Adela, there's so many different ways to pronounce it. Like there's Adela, which is the Arabic version. There's Adela, which is the Spanish version. There's Adela, which is the way my parents say it. And that means justice. It means honest and just.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm just like, you know, I want to have honest and just DJ sets. Let me just switch the A to a 4, you know, make it cool. Like 4D, also like, you know, fourth dimension. What's in the fourth dimension?
Oh, I didn't even peep that you were doing that. Okay. So
4DHILA, Adela, however you want to call it, that's me reclaiming my identity. How are you reclaiming yours?
How am I reclaiming mine? I think that, I don't know if that was a question for me.
It can
That
be.
was for the audience, definitely. That just made me
everyone.
think, like,
No.
damn, how am I reclaiming mine? I think that reclaiming my identity is this show, you know? I feel like for me, a lot of the artistic expression that I've been involved in, it's been being a muse, being a part of different shows or art exhibits or installations, and it's nice to be valued for like how you look, but it's a beautiful thing to be valued for your mind, you know? And I think that what you're doing is also part of that too. I mean, everything that you've done so far, even before DJing, it was a display of that. It's beautiful, and I'm just so happy to be reconnecting with you again.
Me too. We go way back.
Yes.
We go way back like 3 years ago. But
I
like,
know.
no. That's what I love about just creating. It's just like you make genuine friendships, and it's just like, you know, I never would have thought you'd have your own radio, your own podcast, and it's just, it's so like, it's so beautiful to see how like we've both grown and how we both like evolved. And
Yes, and evolution is so important. I'm at the point where I'm having to forgive myself from those self-destructive patterns that you were talking about, and evolve, but not from a place of trying to reject the person that I was before. Like more so embracing myself and like loving myself and healing and just, you know, just growth. And I think when you approach art from that space, it doesn't feel so scary.
Yeah, most definitely.
Am I making sense? I hope I am.
No, that does make sense. Like I consider myself a Sufi Muslim, and Sufism, it's considered the mystical part of Islam, but it's all about connecting with like Allah, like a higher power, the universe, with yourself, and it's very artistic, and it's very artistic in the form of music and dance. It's such a creative process to just grow as a person, and just I'm assuming you're very spiritual based off the beautiful stuff around your room.
Thank you.
It's so interesting to see how the stars just align, or the universe like sets out this like path for you to grow. Beautiful thing you said, you know, not trying to like shame your old self, but just growing from that, and also embracing your past too. Yeah,
and I don't mean to say it like I've mastered it. I'm definitely still on the journey, but just, you know, sharing what I've learned. And thank you so much for coming. I'm just so overjoyed. This is something that I ask pretty much everybody. What do you do to secure your own mental health and clear your mind, feed into your own peace? You know, like what do you do for yourself?
I take breaks. I take time to just do nothing. I work, I go to school, I take care of my family, and I create. To me, like, protecting that is literally just setting aside a day to just do nothing. Just lay in bed and relax and like feel your muscles and feel your body parts and feel, okay, what's in pain right now and how can I take care of it? And for me, I got a foam roller, so like my back is always in pain. So I'm always foam rolling, but
I need a foam roller.
If you don't take care of like your physical or your mental like health, then it shows up in your physical health. Like I've been to the ER so many times. Like I have so many doctor's appointments because like my stress literally consumed me. So that's my biggest thing, like that I tell everyone is just set aside a self-care Sunday, as cliche as that sounds, but just just pamper yourself, fall in love with yourself, write to yourself, admire yourself, like literally look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I love you, like I love the person that I am. Make sure that you're letting your like heart and your soul and your brain and your physical body just rest and just be stagnant for a little bit.
Yes. A quote that I heard once was, you say that you love yourself, but do you romance yourself? Like, do you romance yourself? Do you do that little extra, you know, do you do the bubble bath? Do you get yourself something special to drink? Or, you know, like those little things. It means so much doing it for yourself. So then when somebody comes around and they're doing those things for you, like it's good, but you can appreciate it, but not from a place of, oh, like this is stuff I can't do for myself, or I've never experienced this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
But while we're on that topic, how are you in relationships, like in your love life? How has that been?
This is such a funny question. Well, so I got broken up with in June.
Oh my god, I didn't mean to no.
You're good. You're fine. No, this is really a fun topic for me. So I mentioned Tariq earlier. That's my best friend. Like, I really think, I'm sorry to say, but that's my soulmate. Like, and so him breaking up with me, it was a mutual thing. It was hard. It was very bittersweet. We were together for almost 4 years. Like,
oh my gosh.
High school sweethearts. We grew up together. Like, we met when we were 12. I've always known him, so that was really, really hard for me. And then, you know, now I'm just casually dating. I finally am getting a chance to be queer, which is something that's really nice for me. You know, I always knew I was queer ever since I was like 12, 13, but I never got a chance to be queer.
So wait, did you know this before or after you got with your ex?
Well, I knew this during my first relationship.
Okay.
Because like when you're a kid, the options to be queer are really limited because, you know, that judgment and that like lack of safety around you. So I finally had a first safe queer experience, and I'm continuing that. My relationship life is really exciting, honestly.
Okay, yes.
I'm getting to meet people, but also forming friendships with them and being very protective of myself too. Because, you know, I believe in exchanging energies and souls and, you know, giving too much of yourself, and I'm definitely a vulnerable person, and I definitely have that vulnerability and that taken advantage of. But yeah, my relationship life, honestly, it's going good. It's chaotic and there's drama, you know. I feel like anytime you're casually dating, there's gonna be messiness.
Yeah.
There's messiness. Something that I learned with relationships is just like, the moment you stop seeking something or the moment you stop swiping, someone comes in. And then it's just like, all right, universe, like, what are you telling me?
So you're anti-dating apps. You're not on the apps.
I'm not on the apps.
You're not on the
anti-dating apps. I think it's not for me.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and like I might use them in the future, but for now, I just can't. Like, it's really draining. That's something I also learned about myself in relationships is I get drained so easily. Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm 20, like, I'm living my 20s. I'm just having fun, but
you're living your best life.
Oh yeah, but love to my last ex, like that's my best friend. So I appreciate him for teaching me all these things and him encouraging me to be the person. Like, if it wasn't for him, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today. So I have that love for him. Yeah,
that is so beautiful. And I know that you said it was hard, but from the other things you're saying, it sounds like it wasn't messy. Like, it wasn't... Yeah,
it was respectful.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, I'm a little older than you. I'm not going to be like... I think that, like, in life, you'll learn that, like, that is such a beautiful thing. Yeah. To not have stuff end in, like, chaos and just y'all hate each other and now you have an enemy. Like, nah, that is literally the goal. You feel me? You're not going to end up with somebody forever, but at least you guys can end on good terms, you know? Like, not as enemies or not to where you just feel wronged and slighted, and it takes maturity, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, I commend you for being able to handle that well and navigate that, and I know especially, like, I ain't never been in a relationship for that long, like, especially that young, like, I know it was like a huge identity shift. It must have been, right? Like, did you feel that?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, things were really kind of just rocky with us. And I mean, the reason why we broke up is because we both just needed to be our own individual people. We wanted to focus on our lives for a little bit because it was always it was always Adela and Tariq, and now his art named Slouch Season. Shout out Slouch Season. It was always Slouchy and Adela. When we broke up, I felt like I lost my identity. I felt like I just didn't know who I was. I felt like I just literally couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. Heartbreak is a bitch.
Yeah, heavy on the I couldn't move.
I couldn't move. Like, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was just crying. Like, and I really, really, really made it my mission to get to know myself and just be independent. Even while we were together, especially like, you know, in 2022, it was really rough for me because my dad got really sick with cancer, and
I'm so sorry.
He's good now. He's good. He's healed. But I was always taking care of people around me, whether that was my ex or my family or my friends. And so that was always my mission, to get to know myself. But then when we broke up, I had all this time on my hands where I was just like, okay, well, now I'm not putting that energy into the relationship. Now I have the energy for myself. I changed a lot within those few months, like within the past few months. Like, we broke up in June. I changed, like, I watched Fight Club. I don't know if you've seen how annoying I am about Fight Club.
I haven't seen Fight Club, but everybody talks about it and you're not supposed to, but yeah.
Whatever. I don't give a fuck. No, watching that movie changed my life. Like, really? I just like forced myself to take control of my life. If you want to come over this depression or come over this anxiety, then you have to actively put in that work.
Right.
And that's something that was like my mantra for my summer, is just like, put in that work to heal. You can't just expect to heal and do nothing. Like, it takes work and it's really hard. Growth is not a linear thing. Growth is like, it can be like this, it can be like this.
You go in cycles.
Yeah, I made it my goal. I was going to start my self-discovery, and I was going to start this new journey for myself, and I was going to start taking the things that I love a little bit more seriously and prioritizing that. So I really got my priorities set, and my priorities were take care of yourself, eat, put in some effort into some art because that makes you happy, and just envision your life with you and being content with you. My psychiatrist said to me was, why are you running away from yourself? Why are you scared of being alone? And so I forced myself to be alone, and I forced myself to just enjoy that isolation. And now I'm really comfortable with it. I'm really comfortable with just like spending the day with myself, or just hanging out with myself, and not having someone next to me. You know, for 3.5 years I had someone with me, and I loved it, you know, like I'm not saying that was a bad thing, but now I love just having me, myself, and I. There's something beautiful about just that silence and just enjoying that comfort of just you in your own room.
In your own world.
Yeah, in your own world. So
right,
most definitely.
Yeah, another quote. I guess I'm pretty big on quotes. Another one that I heard is like, when you are a half searching for your other half, you're gonna go into relationships not feeling complete. You're not feeling whole, and it's not healthy. And so it's very powerful that you guys chose to make that sacrifice. And
it was hard.
Right. I you know, go on your own path. It was definitely, from what I'm hearing, it was a decision made out of love. Love that you guys both have for each other, and love that you guys are going for with yourselves, you know what I mean, for both of y'all. Because
let me tell you, most people will not choose to do things the right way and like break up. Like, nah, they're just gonna try and finesse. And
but so beautiful, and I'm just so thankful to hear your journey and to have you come in. As we're wrapping up, is there anything that you want our viewers and our listeners out there to know? Any advice? Or
just remember to be kind to yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up all the time. You're doing the best you can, and keep doing it, and I'm proud of you. And just let's all learn to just congratulate ourselves a little bit more, and, you know, kudos to us for making it this far, you know? Surviving a pandemic, capitalism, the rest of the bullshit that's in the world. We're here, we're alive, and I just want everyone to recognize that.
Very well spoken. And how can they find you out there?
So my app is 4DHILA, so 4DHILA or Adela, however you want to say it.
You got to turn that into like a hand signal or some shit. Like
message me, you know, reach out to me if anyone ever just wants to have a conversation. Like, I'm so down for that. Like, anyone wants to collaborate, create together, or just be friends. Like, that's what I love about the Bay, is that it's small, but it's filled with love. So
Yes. Thank you once again. This has been NEOSOULED Radio. I'm your host, Kyrie Nashim, aka NEOSOULED, with ANNABELLE, aka 4DHILA. And I want you to remember that your mind is a garden and your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Peace out. Yes.
Oh,
that was so good. No.
High five.